Episode 68
Man.
of In the Fire is going to be absolutely a banger. Absolutely fantastic. People are going to listen to this episode and be like, dang, I felt that. I felt that, and now I know what to do. That's what they're...
Woo!
I like the effort. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to the In the Fire podcast. We appreciate you. Welcome in. Take your flyers. Take your seat. And
No, keep going.
I was trying to-
No. I like that.
I was trying something new. And
No, I know.
You just made me
No,
feel-
I know.
feel-
No, I know.
But I need.
Yeah, I know.
And so, we appreciate you guys, whether you're listening on Spotify, since you're watching us on YouTube. Make sure to check out the TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and most importantly, the Patreon. The Discord community is absolutely fantastic.
We love you guys. You know who you are.
Yes, you do. Yes, we.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man. Great.
But
Great.
Yes. Welcome to In the Fire.
Welcome to In the Fire. Get ready to get thrown in the fire.
Yes, sir. Because today we were talking about a specific season that people go through, a specific feeling that I've been through, all the time actually. Like I feel like that a lot of times in my life.
Yep.
And so we just want to talk about it and
Yeah.
express to you, I don't want to say a solution, but a different way of thinking.
Had a different way to view it, like a different perspective.
Exactly. To set us free, because feeling like that really sucks. Feeling like that is
Sucks
not
a lot.
fun.
Yeah.
And so we always want to be reminded that God is with us and God is working. So
Yeah.
we're talking about the season of when nothing is happening.
Nothing's going on.
When you feel like nothing has changed, nothing is getting better. Everything is just...
Nothing's really happening in front of you.
Yeah, like as if like you're just kind of living day by day and just like praying on stuff and nothing is changing, nothing is getting better. You don't feel like God is working. You don't feel like God is listening to you. You feel like God may be stagnant. You might be saying, God, are you sleeping up there? Like, what's going on? Why is nothing happening?
Yeah.
Why is nothing changing?
Yeah.
Why is nothing going my way? What is going on?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to view it. You know, if like again, like it's so discouraging because we take that and we're just like, okay, God, so you left. You stopped talking to me. I don't hear your voice. I don't see you doing anything, and you're just like absent, right? And so that in itself is discouraging, and we believe this, you know, this lie that God's not doing anything,
Right.
when in reality, as Jesus says, my Father's always working. Right?
I have the verse.
Oh,
I have the verse. Dang, you jumping right to it.
Took it from him already.
Dang.
Took it from him already.
John 5:17. But Jesus replied, "My Father is always working, and so am I."
Yep.
This is when he the Pharisees catch him, I guess you want to say, working on Sabbath, and so they're like, "Yo, what are you doing? You can't do that.
Yo, why are you
working? Why are you healing? Why are you doing stuff?"
When he healed somebody, or when they got grain, when the disciples got like some grain.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. Dang, don't catch me lacking like that ever again. But
read your Bible, guys.
Yes, you should be reading your Bible. But they're like, yo, you can't do that. You can't be working. You can't be healing. You can't be eating. You can't be doing nothing. Jesus, what are you doing? And he's like, my Father's always working, and so am I. Like father, like
boom,
son.
mic drop.
Like father, like son. He's working.
Crazy,
I'm working.
Crazy.
Stuff has to get done.
Yeah, and I think that in itself is encouraging, because it's kind of just like, okay, so he is working. I just don't know how right now. You know what I mean? It's like, as I was saying, I feel like there's different perspectives to it, because this reminds me, you know, sometimes when I think it's a process of spiritual maturity, because I remember talking to one of my pastors, and I was telling him how I was feeling. And sometimes when we feel like this, God might be inviting us into something new, right? Maybe it's kind of like, I feel like he's being dry in this. Maybe, like, let's just say, for example, maybe you're reading, you're watching sermons, you're studying a lot, you're doing a lot of intaking, right? You're just doing that, and it's kind of feeling like and then it could be that maybe your prayer life isn't where God wants it to be, and so God is kind of like inviting you into, hey, let's do more prayer, let's do more deep prayer, like speak to me more, do this more. And so it's kind of like sometimes when it comes to this season, God could be inviting you into something. You just have to be aware of it. Like, kind of maybe where are you lacking in your spiritual walk and your spiritual relationship with God? That's how I think of it. Like, which is something I've learned from a pastor. Like, it could be that God is inviting you into something. Just try to figure out what that something is for you. in this season of dryness. Maybe like if nothing's happening, maybe God wants you to be studying the word, right? Like he won't put you somewhere that he wants you to be prepared for something, right? He wants you to be equipped. He wants you to be knowledgeable. It could be that in this season you gotta read the word, right?
Yeah.
Get in that deep prayer, like kind of in that training thing, whatever, just as put a word to it.
Yeah.
Could be something like that, right? It's more of just like what's going on right now, and you can pray for guidance in that too. Like what has to happen? What is God inviting me to? What does God want me to focus on right now? That, I think when you have that perspective, it just kind of helps. It helps the season because you're being more aware of like, what should I be doing right now? We talked about like success is doing what you need to do in the season you're in, right? Being successful is being faithful in that, getting that done, whatever it is you got to do in the season. So that's kind of how I think about it, like a perspective.
That's certainly an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
It certainly is. For me, I think of it in a different way. Sort of. It's kind of similar, but instead of God is trying to bring you into something new,
possibly invite you somewhere else,
possibly inviting you somewhere else, I think it's more of he's preparing for what's to come, for what's coming in your next season. Yeah. So okay. All right. So I really felt in my heart, and I got put in my heart the story of Joseph. I love that story. That's story. It is a fantastic story. It's in Genesis. And so if any of you guys don't know, Joseph, he's a son of Jacob. Yep. 12 kids, right? 12 kids. He's one of them. Brothers, yeah. 12 brothers, or 11 brothers in him. And he's the youngest, correct? Yeah. Or the second to youngest.
So it is 12 brothers actually, right? Let's just
okay. Sure. And so he's kind of like the favorite of his father. And so he has this dream one day where his brothers are bowing down to him, and he's like, all
bundles of grain are bowing down to him.
And so he's this innocent little kid. First of all, if I was one of his brothers, like, I don't know, man.
A cool perspective on that is I've tried to like study that, and it could be that in that moment Joseph actually had a little bit of pride in a way because he kept on sharing it, right? So that's something that, like, as we dive deep into more, like it could be a case that in that moment Jacob or Joseph was kind of like being a little prideful, a little more like,
for sure. If I was his brother, bro, I don't know. Like, who God would be putting my pride to the test, because my ego would be getting smacked at the moment if my little brother was telling me one day you're gonna bow down to me. Like, what did you just say to me?
I mean, that's the thing. Watch your ego. Yeah. Because God could be doing something in somebody's life, and you could be feeling a type of way about it. Dang, chill. Hey, that's just true though.
Chill, but don't share that story.
All right.
No, I meant like Joseph. Like, I'd be telling him, like, cool, like maybe God gave you that dream. Like, you don't have to come to my face and tell me I'm gonna bow down to you. Like, keep that to yourself.
Well, then another way to say it is,
Plus, like, I feel like
watch who you share your dreams to. Watch who you share your God's dreams, or what God told you.
I guess that's true too. Because, I mean, as the older brothers, they probably felt some sort of bitterness already because his father was just always giving him attention, and so his father ends up giving him this cool robe, this cool, like, many colors, cool thing, whatever. It's a gift, blah, 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 blah. And so the brothers are like, screw you. We're done with you. I don't, you're done. Yep. So they plan on throwing him into a cistern, into this hole.
They wanted to kill him first, but then,
yes.
But then Reuben was like, no, let's not kill that thing.
That's wild.
I know.
They're like, wow, we need to kill our little brother. They all planned it.
That's a lot of hatred.
That is a lot of hatred. So they're like, we're going to kill this kid. We don't want him here anymore. We'll just tell our father that he was attacked by an animal, a wild animal, and he was killed. And then one of the brothers, Reuben,
the oldest,
hears them, and he's like, guys, how about we just throw him in the cistern, and his plan was that he was going to go back and save him and pull him out. So they throw him in the cistern, and I think they grab lunch. They, do whatever. They do something. And then they see like camels and people from Egypt come by, and they're like, this is perfect. We don't have to kill him, but we'll sell him. Like, what? First of all, what's going on in Joseph's mind right now?
Man.
My brothers absolutely hate me. They all teamed up to throw me in a cistern, and they're going to sell me to Egypt. What? I thought, God, like, what's going on?
And another view of that too is at the end, after everything happens, I feel like Joseph just kind of wanted love from his brothers too. You know what I mean?
That's deep.
Imagine he kind of just wanted that love from them, and they did that. Like there's something else you can kind of see on the story. But yeah, they throw him in the system.
Yeah. And so they sell him.
They sell him.
He ends up going to Egypt. And in Egypt, God is blessing him abundantly, and he starts to do everything that he basically touches just goes right.
If he's in the household is blessed.
It is blessed.
That's crazy.
And so the Pharaoh's like, yo, this is my boy. And so he starts giving him higher positions, more responsibilities. And so Joseph's kind of popping at the moment.
He is, yeah.
He's popping at the moment. Great.
He's in charge of everything.
God's like, this is great. And just like us in our lives, we have amazing seasons. We have seasons where we're popping, where everything we touch, it is blessed. And you feel God moving, and you feel God healing you. You feel God setting you free. And this is awesome. This is great.
Wow.
And then Pharaoh's wife starts hitting on him, like, damn,
crazy.
This guy is mad fine. This guy is good looking. Wow. Like, I'm trying to get with him. And so she's like seducing Joseph, and Joseph's like, get away from me. Get behind me, Satan.
Joseph is awesome.
Joseph is the best, bro. And so Joseph's like, stop. You're Pharaoh's wife. Yeah. I'm popping right now. I don't need you to ruin that.
Potiphar.
And so he's like, get away from me. Don't stop. And so,
crazy.
So his wife, Pharaoh's wife,
Potiphar's
wife, ends up calling Joseph over, I think, into her bedroom. I'm pretty sure. That's
I think she grabbed him.
Oh yeah, she grabbed him,
and then he ran away, and he ripped off his cloak. Oh my!
He's like, stop, get away from me, and he starts running because he's like, I cannot be caught lacking. Wow. I cannot even be caught close to her.
How could I sin against my God?
Exactly. How can I sin against my God? So he dips, but she grabs onto his cloak.
His cloak rips off.
And so she's like, he don't want to get with me.
Quick thinking.
Facts, bro.
Too.
That is some evilness in your heart for you to be on your feet like that. And so she starts screaming, and she's like, he tried to me. He tried to do stuff with me, right? And so Pharaoh,
Potiphar
throws a rage. He is insanely angry. He's mad. He's like, this is unacceptable. To the prison, my boy. Throws him in prison. So Joseph goes from being with his family, loved, to in a cistern in a hole, betrayed by all of his brothers with deep hatred, sold into slavery. Then everything is popping. Doesn't this sound like our lives? It's an up and down roller coaster.
Up and down, always.
Some seasons were good, some seasons were not.
Roller coasters.
But here's the interesting part. Here's the part that I wanted to get to. Then he gets put in prison. Now, the Bible doesn't say how long he was there. But people that study it, they say that it could have been around 12 years that he was in jail.
12 years?
Yes, because he was a young boy when he was sold into slavery.
Yeah.
So they say, once again, this is not biblical. I'm just saying this is
like the studies.
The studies. They say that he might have been with Potiphar for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, thrown in prison, and he gets out of prison at 30. So let's say 17-year-old, once again, not in the Bible, 17-year-old sold into slavery. He's popping. He's doing everything. Gets thrown in jail for 12 years. 12 years of nothing. 12 years of
insane.
God, where are you? 12 years of God, why you gave me this dream? Where's my purpose? Where's my calling? My life is going to waste 12 years. 12 years is an insane amount.
It is insane.
To be in jail.
Just 1 year, I feel like done.
Wasted. But 12. Now, in jail, like, once again, he's still popping. Like, he's friends with, like, the jail officer.
He gets in
whatever.
charge of the whole freaking prison.
Yeah. And so that's the part that stood out to me, was that jail time. Was him, after things were going amazing, things go south very fast for him. And for a long time, some of us have been going through a hard time for 6 months. And once again, 6 months is a long time. Yeah. And people, we get desperate. We get annoyed. We get frustrated. We get stressed and worried and anxious. And God, why aren't you helping me? It's been so long. And to think that Joseph was there for 12 years.
Yeah, we don't think about the like extreme time differences from each from passage to passage. Like 12 years
is insane.
Bugging.
And so for me, this stood out to me because it was like, wow, 12 years. And if I put myself in Joseph's shoes, what was he thinking? What was he going through? What was he feeling? Because he had his dedication to God, and he didn't do anything wrong, which is the worst part. Is I stay faithful. I said I will not sin against my God.
Justice, man.
He could have just said yes to Potiphar's wife and been like, yeah, let's do it. Like, you're valid. Like, you're cool. Like, let's do this. You're cute. Like, let's do it.
Okay.
Pharaoh, trust me. Like, don't snitch and we good. But he's like, no, I'm not sinning against my God. I'm doing good right now. Gets thrown in jail for 12 years. You're just like, God,
for doing the right thing.
So you're just looking up at God and you're saying, God, I'm
getting rewarded evil for doing good.
I was faithful to you. I trusted you.
Wow.
Why is this happening to me? Where are you?
Wow.
1 year goes by in jail. God, am I ever going to get out of here? Another year. This goes on for 12 years. If it was that long. But even if it was half of that, 6 years. Just imagine of your life 6 years where you did absolutely nothing wrong and you're locked up. And all you did was be faithful to God. God, what's happening? I would be incredibly frustrated. I would be incredibly upset with God.
Wow.
God, what is happening? Why is nothing happening? Okay, and then in jail, he interprets the dream of the wine guy and the cake guy, the baker and the cupbearer.
Cupbearer.
And so when he interprets their dreams, just fast forward, I won't get into all the specifics, but he says, remember me when Pharaoh lets you out. Because the dream was that Pharaoh was about to let them out and they were about to be, put back into their position. One of them, after a while, would, get thrown out, whatever. But he's like, when you guys leave this jail, please remember me. I just interpreted your dreams. I just blessed you. Please remember me. He's been in there for a long time in jail. Yo, my brother, remember me, please. Guy gets out of jail, completely forgets.
Forgets. And then how many years after that?
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh my! No, but I'm pretty sure it was a while. It was another while.
Yeah.
Before the guy was like, "Oh, there's somebody in prison."
Yeah.
But he think, "Oh my, yo, you're reading. You're like, bruh,
yep.
He forgot." Oh my god!
And to be Joseph, he was probably like, "Okay, this might be my way out."
Yeah.
God, you helped me interpret that dream because I was God. Thank you, God, for helping me interpret that dream. God, maybe this is my time. Maybe it's your time to act. You've been stagnant to say. Finally, the guy forgets. Joseph's in there for another while.
Yeah.
Just imagine how Joseph feels.
It's crazy.
God, why is nothing happening? I've spent half of my life in this jail, and all I've been is faithful to you. Why?
Even after being thrown in the pit, he was still faithful.
Yep. Crazy.
It's just like insane because when I think about that, like obviously like fast forwarding, like I just think about just kind of like the whole initial, he was very proud and very prideful, and this entire experience of pure humility, like just pure like you get humble, like you're in prison for 12 years.
Yeah.
And it's also like did God stop working? Like kind of it's like, again, fast forwarding to the end of the story, like dang, like God was actually there though. And in that there's a verse in that whole moment where like God says that, it says something where God showed his faithfulness to Joseph somewhere in that prison. I remember reading that God did show, I don't know what he did, but in some way, like God did encourage or show Joseph his faithfulness in that prison. Yeah,
which is why I said like even in the prison, everything he was about was blessed.
Yeah.
The chief officer, whatever of the
but not even that too. Like there was like another verse where God literally like something I don't know what God did, but besides the whole like him being promoted in the prison,
right?
God did say something like where in the Bible it did say that God did show his love to Joseph in the prison. We don't know what maybe God spoke to Joseph, maybe right. God showed Joseph something, but also like what I saw there too was definitely Joseph needed some encouragement. Oh. He needed something, right? So when I read that God showed his something, I think the verse is God showed his faithful love to Joseph. When I read that, I was like, God definitely knew that he needed it. And that's where I like that, because God knows when you need it. Right? Like, we're always like, God, I need you. I want your love. I want your love. But God knows when we really need a reminder, right? When, like, in that moment in maybe whatever prison you're in right now, right? When you feel like helpless, like, picture Joseph, man, helpless. What are you doing? I'm not supposed to be here. I was wrong. I was wronged. I did the right thing, and I got repaid with evil. And now I'm in this prison for 12 years. You feel helpless. You feel locked up. You feel like you're hopeless.
Betrayed, yeah.
Right? And so God, I believe that God knew that Joseph needed a reminder of his faithful love to him. That's why in that verse, when I read it, I was like, God knows when we need it. Right? So when we really need it, when we need a reminder, when we need to be reminded of God's faithful love, he will remind us. Yeah. He will. You know, that's kind of what I got from that.
And so to go off of the story, continuing, something that I find so beautiful, and that's what's beautiful about the Bible, is that we get to see the whole story, right? And so it'd be different if it was like as if it was a TV show, if it was per episode. Like, if the season ended with him in jail, we would have been like, bro.
Well, what was the point of being faithful? That's what it feels like, though.
Yeah.
Joseph 100%. Probably had that thought. It's like, what's the point of...
No, that's relatable, yeah.
Right?
And so what's beautiful is we get to see the whole story, and we see how Joseph turns out.
Yeah.
And how his faithfulness gets rewarded. And so he
so cool.
Is it the cupbearer or is it the baker? Dang, my Bible's getting tested today.
Cupbearer was the one that stayed, and the other guy.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So the cupbearer. One day, the Pharaoh has a crazy dream, and
he calls everybody.
Yes.
All of his people. Nobody can interpret it.
Nobody. The magicians. I was reading this, and it said a lot about the astrologers, and I know a lot of people are into that nowadays. And when I read that, I just felt, I was like, dang, God's really calling them out 2,000 years
2,000 years.
Because he was like, the astrologers, they had zero power. They couldn't do it.
Crazy.
Like, they try to use all their crystals, all their things. They could not do it. They could not interpret it. I'm sorry.
Crazy.
And so the cupbearer is like, wait a minute. I know a guy.
Oh, wait a minute.
A few years later. I remember this one guy.
Oh, yeah.
The one guy that blessed my entire life. Yeah, I remember that guy. Yo, he can interpret your dream. So Pharaoh calls him, and Joseph interprets his dream. Like,
interpreting dreams is God's business.
Yeah.
That's what Joseph said.
Oh, yeah, because he starts, like, worshiping him, right? He starts worshiping Joseph. I'm pretty sure.
No, because when he first got there, like, he was like, interpreting dreams is God's business. I think he said that in the prison or to Pharaoh. I don't know, but
okay.
I remember it was that. I just want to check because it was kind of
cool. And so Joseph's life just starts going crazy.
Yeah, after
he
that,
promotion after promotion after promotion.
What did Pharaoh say to Joseph? He was like, nobody will be able to do something. You'll be second. Like, I'm first. Oh, you're second. He said something crazy. He was like, nobody will be ever can never tell you anything. You're second in command. I'm first.
Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And so I asked myself, I said, God, what were you doing in that prison? Why wait so long? What were you waiting for? Why did you let him go through that season of difficulty? And we talked about it last episode where we hate, or not hate, but we like are annoyed of hearing the words like God's timing. God's timing takes forever. Yeah. But imagine Joseph, man. Like, we go for, I go through for like 1 month and I'm like, yo, God, like, seriously, it's been forever. Like, Joseph's there for 12
years. And
so I asked myself, God, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Why did you wait so long? But think about it. I started thinking about it. Would Joseph have gotten to the position that he was at if all of Potiphar's wife thing didn't happen? Because at the moment, he was, 17, 18 years old, maybe?
Yeah.
Do you think he would have had the maturity, the faith and the trust, the courage and the strength, the character to be second in command?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
Absolutely not. At that young age, no. And so God needed him and prepared him in that time. Mm-hmm. So one thing to remember in your season of nothingness, we'll call it, is God is preparing you. God is preparing you, and God is preparing the timing. The timing needed to be right. Right? Because how did Joseph get to that position? Was because of Pharaoh's dream. Joseph wasn't gonna get there just by being good at stuff. Like, he had to do something crazy. He had to do a miracle, which is God interpreting that dream for him to get to that position. Now, all of this, by the way, was Joseph's purpose because the famine was about to come to Egypt, and so God needed to help his people out. And he's like, "Yo, this Potiphar guy has no idea what he's doing. I need Joseph. I need Joseph to help when this famine hits." So that was his purpose. So first of all, if you go all the way back to his brothers, if he stayed with his brothers in that family, he would have gotten nowhere near his purpose of what he had to go through.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so God in that jail, in that time of nothingness, God was preparing Joseph, and God was preparing the timing. And not just that, but he was preparing the situation, because he needed to prepare everything else around him to bring Joseph into that season that he had to be in.
Yes, you went to the prison, but it was to save the nation.
Dang. So he had to go through he had to be in prison. He had to.
But it was to save Egypt and to save the people around them, to save. That's insane. Prison, you had to go to the prison, but it was to save
the nation,
Egypt, and save the Hebrews and Israelites.
And so it's crazy.
I think it's super encouraging, because it's just like,
absolutely,
whatever God's like, because God is working.
Think about it. If God had told him, "You're in prison and you're going to be here for a while, but it's okay because what I'm about to do is even crazier."
No.
Joseph would have been like, "I bet.
Bro,
we're good."
Imagine God told Joseph everything. Like, all right, first you're going to get wronged by Potiphar's wife. You're going to go to prison. And then you're going to help somebody out their dream. But they won't remember you. So a few years more pass. And then you're going to go. And then, no, I'm not doing that. Make me king now.
Your facts. Dang.
But that's the thing. Like I was said before, what you're saying, that was that whole process of character development, humbling. Because like I said, even though it doesn't say it, we could kind of infer that like when he was sharing with his brothers, like there was some sense of, like pride. There's some sense of like, I'm so awesome. And it's like all that crazy stuff, all that humbling, prison, being wronged for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It made him, like, again, mature. There was maturity that was being grown there. There was so much stuff being like made there for him to be in that position.
Yeah. And if you ask yourself, in that moment where you're just like, you feel like God is not working, and you say, "God, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're working on?" And so, and the thing is, Joseph, I'm sure Joseph asked that, but God was like, "I can't tell you, but I need you to trust me. I can't tell you, but it's all for your benefit, not just your benefit, but you, like, I mean, I'm sure God didn't say this to him, but you're about to save, like, a whole nation." And that's the thing. We think so small. We think so small, and we forget how big God is. In that moment, Joseph could have been like, "Yo, God, get me out of jail. Like, I want to enjoy the sunlight and the grass and eat and talk to people and see my family."
Yeah.
And God's like, "Bro, just wait a little longer.
Yeah.
Because I have something massive planned. I have something massive planned, and I need you to be patient." And that's the hardest thing that I dislike hearing now. Is you need to be patient. Stop. It's like, bro, I've been patient enough. Like, clearly, if you're frustrated, you're not patient.
You haven't
bro.
been 12 years in prison patient.
Exactly.
Tell you that right there.
You're right.
If you ever feel like God's not moving, it's like,
You're right.
have you waited 12 years in prison?
By the way, that's my new prayer. Yo, God, help me be like Joseph, to have enough like faith and
be
trust
careful,
and
because
patience.
you might be put in prison for 12 years.
No,
bro.
don't say that, please. God, please.
But in a way,
yeah.
And even Joseph, at the end, Joseph said to his brother, he's like, "You guys meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." So you can even see Joseph matured so much that he looked back.
The forgiveness is crazy.
Forgiveness is crazy. First off,
forgiveness is crazy.
That's also a moment where before when I said that Joseph just wanted love for his brothers, like forgiveness, crazy. And like he was like, it was just so nice. Like, you know, when he saw his brother Benjamin, he had to go to he had to go to his like bathroom and like wash his face because he was crying. Oh, crazy. But yeah, like Joseph matured so much that we talk about it too. We talk about this before on episodes where we go through crazy seasons, then we look back and we're like, that's why he did that. Same thing happened to Joseph. He went through all that crazy stuff, and then he matured and saw it, that you guys meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. Because look where I'm at, and I can save you guys now. Even though you wanted to kill me, God wanted to save you guys.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, we call it a season of God, nothing is happening. But if only you knew the work that he was doing. Just like Jesus says, my Father is always working, and so am I. And so when you feel like nothing is changing, God, you are not answering. You are not giving me guidance. God, what is happening? I need you to help me. Why am I stuck in this prison? Why can't I get out?
Yeah.
You need to remember that God is working. Even if you don't see it. Even if you don't see it, God is doing some crazy work in the back. And even in the front, sometimes you just miss it. But God is working. Even in that prison, there was character development. He was blessing the life of the cupbearer and the baker and probably everybody in that freaking prison.
Yeah.
He was preparing Pharaoh. He was preparing the whole nation. He was growing and working in his family.
Yeah.
God had have been doing crazy things to lead up to that moment. And that's why God is saying, God is telling you today, if you're in this season, he's saying, be patient. I'm working. I know you can't see it, but I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm healing. I'm growing. I'm preparing. I'm preparing the situation, the timing, and I'm preparing you. I'm preparing everybody around you. I know you can't see it, but I need you to trust me. Wow. I need you to trust me, and I need you to have faith in me and to be patient for what I have for you. Because what I have for you is massive, and you're thinking way too small. And I need you to just trust that I'm about to bring you into this crazy season. But I need you to go through this first. Wild.
Well said. And that reminds me of what I was told when I was being prayed over. I got told that right now in my life, I think I told you this, that like my life kind of seems like like you're staring at a boiling pot, right? That like as you stare at a boiling pot, it takes forever to start boiling. But when it's boiling and you see it happening, right? So it's kind of like maybe somebody feels like that right now, right? That like they're looking at their life and it's like a boiling pot, but it's not getting to that boiling point. It's just, it looks the same. But it's kind of like eventually that pot's going to start boiling and you're going to start seeing like, whoa, it's bubbling, it's going really fast and everything. And that's that whole thing of we're very impatient and we feel like God's not doing anything, but eventually like God is always working. He has a big plan for me, for you, for everyone listening. And as you said, just be patient. Yeah. Because what's to come? No eye has seen, no ear has heard what God, or no, somebody has imagined the things God has planned in advance for those who love him, right?
Yes. Yep.
It's crazy.
John 13:7, Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand."
Yep.
And it's hard. It's hard, but these seasons are important for us to go through. It is a hard season to go through, and trust me, I know how it feels. But the way you're going to come out afterwards and the blessings God has for you and the plans he has for you and the character development and the growth is something unmatchable. And if you knew what God had for you later, that Jesus just said you'll see later, if you just knew that, you would say, God, let's do it again because I want to do it again because I want to grow some more. You'd be open to it. You'd be like, yo, God, bring me through whatever you want because I know that what you have for me after is crazy.
And it kind of relates to, people who have gone through crazy things in the past, hurtful things, painful things in the past. And we know, you guys should know that we always talk about this always, that whatever the enemy meant for evil, God turns it for good, right? That God causes all things to work together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Yeah. That God always turns around things and helps with that. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah. Also, I feel like nowadays, because of social media, because of TV, because of everything, we see so much people at the end. We see a lot of people at Joseph being second in command. And so we're like, I want to be second in command. And I'm like, I want to do that. It's like,
bro, if Joseph had an Instagram right now, 30 years old, because 30's young, 30 years old, second in command.
Yeah.
you'd be like, dang, bro.
All you would hear Joseph be like, y'all don't know what I had to go. Y'all don't know the grind. You don't know what I had to do to get here. But
none of you would do what I went through.
That's the thing. Like we see that because of social media, because of YouTube, because of everything. We see people at like the end.
That's very true.
At the end of the whole pit to palace thing, right? That we see people at the palace, and because we see that, I think we're always chasing that. But then I think what we should be chasing is just what God's will is for our lives. You know what I mean? Like however that looks for us.
Yeah.
God's will for my life will not look the same as my will of His will for your life.
Yep.
That's just kind of how it is,
true, yeah.
right? So I think we should just be happy with that, and not. And that's something I also wanted to say too. Something I heard, which is really good. Some pastor, he said that like, you know, he had to learn to rejoice with other people's success before God could kind of give him his own success in a way. You know what I mean? Like for him not to be bitter, seeing a bunch of people go to his friend's church and so many people going there, but for his church, there's not a lot of people going, right? So it's kind of like God had to like, you know, teach him that, you know, rejoice with those who are rejoicing, right? Love, like, be happy for them. Don't be bitter. Because then with that heart, then I could give you more people and people can go to your church, right? Wow. So I feel like with that too, like, you know, let's learn to rejoice with others, which is something I think for me was difficult because, you know, in this season too, when I was feeling like, yo, God, like, what about me? Right? Because I feel like a lot of people, what happens is we have our friends in the faith tell us like, God told me this, God's doing this in my life, God's doing that, I just did this, God told me this. And then like, you know, of course you're like, wow, that's awesome. But then like, you know, after 5 seconds, you're like,
what about me?
But what about me? And then so like, you know, you get told that and you go home and you're just thinking like, all right, God, did you forget about me? Am I just nobody? Like, do you not love me the way you love them? Do you love them more? And so that's also very discouraging. And I say that out of a place of experience because I think I've shared it before, where both two of my friends were like, you know, they were like gifts were being shown. They had gifts of this crazy gifts, and like they were sharing it with people, and they were, you know, it was real, like it was true things. It was really awesome. Yeah. And I'm just like, for me, feeling myself like, yo, when is God going to give me my thing? Like, what's God doing in my life? And that was discouraging me a lot, right? But looking back at that moment to now, okay, God, like, you know, so much stuff put on my plate, right? Like God really did. You know, he filled my plate up, and like, again, imagine that time, me feeling a type of way about that to now, God saw me where I'm at now, and He saw me there too.
If you could go back to the Lewis that was feeling that way, and you like, you knowing what you know,
get ready. That's all I would tell him.
That's what you would say?
Get ready. Focus up. That's what I would really tell him. Focus up. Get ready. Start doing everything that you know you have to do, and do it more.
But what if that Lewis, like, what if what's coming is going to take long? Like, you don't want to discourage that younger Lewis, because you're saying get ready and focus up, because you're basically saying something's about to happen, but it's kind of far. So what do you say in a moment where it's like, but he's still months and years away from what's to come?
What can you say? What can you say? It's going to happen. It's going to be awesome. But when? You know what I mean? Like, what really can you say?
Wow, I felt that.
What really can you say to that? All you can really say is, yo, what you're doing right now in that moment, just whatever you need to do, just do it. Do it faithfully. Be faithful to God. What does God require of you? To walk humbly, to love justice, and to walk humbly with your God, right? Like it says in the Bible. Whatever the season you're in right now, just be faithful, right? That's all we can do. I would love to speak to myself in 10 years and ask him everything, right? But I feel like 10 year later, Lewis would probably tell myself, like, just be faithful with what you're doing right now, and then tell you, be faithful, because what can you really say?
That's very true.
Like, what can you really say? I couldn't really tell myself 5 years ago, like, I don't know, what am I going to tell him? You know, yeah, it's awesome, but you can't have it right now, but like soon, you know?
And I think out of all of this, something we learn is that it's temporary. Each season, like, this season is not forever. You know, it's
not going to last forever.
Joseph, you're not going to be in jail forever. I have something for you. And even if he was going to be in jail forever, God still was going to have something for him.
Yeah.
And just like he was rising up in the positions, even in jail, imagine what Joseph was capable of. Joseph had to be the man, bro. He had to be the man. If everything that he was doing, obviously blessed by God, but even in jail, if he was being faithful and having courage, like, we need to be inspired by that.
Yeah.
We need to say, in my season of jail time, or at least that's how it feels, because I know it's nothing compared to what Joseph went through. In my season where I feel like God is not really listening, or what about me moments, we're saying, God, I trust you, and I
trust
faith.
whatever you like. Love your walk.
Say that again. I want you to say it again, not just for everybody else, but for me, because I need that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I need to learn to love my walk. And it's funny. I told my little brother this yesterday. We were coming back from soccer practice because I coach his team, and he was just telling me how, like, he doesn't feel like he's as good on the field anymore because his mind is always running about a bunch of other things. And what I told him was, there will come a day where you are so busy and you have a lot of things on your plate that it'll be years since you've touched a soccer ball. You will never be able to, I mean, not never, but most likely you'll never be able to have this moment with your friends playing soccer for fun, because we're just playing a game.
Yeah.
Again. So enjoy it. Because what can you do stressing on that field, thinking about all the other things you have to do? Just enjoy what you have now. Love your walk. Because he's like, I don't like school. I don't like homeworks. I don't like exams. And I was like, you need to love your walk, because every situation that God is bringing you through is necessary for the next thing that God is about to hand you. Everything you are going through right now is necessary. God is allowing things to happen so that he can prepare you for what's to come. And so I said, so what? That's why I was like, yo, say that again, because love your walk. We need to, because we won't be able to walk backwards. You can't rewind time. You can't. You'll never be this old again with only episode 68. One day we'll be on episode 1,000. You're going to wish to want to go back to the beginning because it was so fun. I mean, we'll have fun in the future too. I'm just saying, you will never be in this moment again. Love your walk.
Wow.
It's the same thing. I mean, you're just telling me that God is transitioning you, right? Even if you dislike the season that you were currently in, it's still something that you should have enjoyed, and God brought you through for a specific reason. You met specific people, you learned specific things,
you got freed from specific things,
and you testify to that in situations where you're just like, I don't want to be here, but if you weren't there, you wouldn't.
God needs me to be here.
And then there will come a time where God's like, all right, you're good next season. You know what I'm saying? And so love your walk. I love that.
Love your walk. Hashtag love your walk.
Yeah. Man, starting hashtags all the time.
I love that. I love starting hashtags. Yeah. But, actually, hashtag love your walk.
Yeah.
Like, stop comparing.
Yeah.
Like, you're the only you. So God has a unique plan for you.
Yeah.
So love that.
Love that. I love that.
What was I going to say? Something else.
No, say it. I need you to remember it.
I'm trying to remember it. I don't know. Love your walk.
Yeah.
Please.
But, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in to the episode. We appreciate you guys. If you guys stayed till the end, we love you. And if you didn't stay till the end, we still love you, even though you won't hear this because you didn't stay till the end.
You're funny.
But Luis is trying really, really hard to remember what he wanted to say. I really hope he remembers it before I do the final closing. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. And we love you. And check out the Patreon, because it is an awesome community where we bond together, grow together, and do this walk together. But yeah, we love you. And I tried to stall as much as I can so Luis couldn't do it, but he couldn't. So we love you, and we'll see you guys for the next episode.
Hashtag love your walk.
Peace out, everybody.